Hi, you guys. Today we're going to be discussing Meyer-Rokenscher-Crusher-Husher syndrome, also known as MRKHS. Summer of 2015, I was told that I was pregnant with my first child. Always like to any good news or bad news. I like to go ahead and tell my friends, and I have three good friends. That night we went out to dinner, and by the end of the dinner, I had told them that I was pregnant. Two of them were ecstatic, and one of them was saddened. When asked why, she said she hated me for the fact that I was pregnant. I was able to get pregnant and she would never be able to. At the age of 16, she was diagnosed with MRKHS, meaning that she was born without a uterus and she would never be able to get pregnant. According to Erin Biba, freelancer and fact checker for the Popular Science, in her article "A Baby Born in Secret," last access June 28, 2021, one in every 5,000 girls are born without a uterus. Today we're going to discuss Meyer-Rokenscher-Crusher-Husher syndrome. We're going to discuss what MRKHS is, uterus transplant, and the options of having a family. What is MRKHS? According to Susan Legan, biologist, in her article "A Clinical Aspect of MRKHS," published February 21st, 2021, she described MRKHS as a congenital absence of the uterus in the two-thirds of the vagina. She also discovered there's two types. Type 1 MRKHS, it is extragenital malformation, meaning and bone and cardiac malformation. Type 2 MRKHS is urinary tract malformation. According to Lauren Barron, doctor in pediatrics, there are two causes for MRKHS. The two causes she found out, one was genetics. The genetic gene was either deleted or it was not it was deleted, and so while in vitro the baby cannot form a uterus. The second cause of MRKHS is the chromosome imbalance. One of the chromosomes was defective, where it caused the baby not to form the uterus in vitro either. The psychological There are psychological issues that go on beyond this. It Vera Laren, psychologist, in her article "Anxiety, Depression in Adolescents with POS and MRKHS," found out that 40% of girls, when diagnosed with MRKHS, suffer depression, meaning that in adolescents, when diagnosed with MRKHS, these girls doubted their sexuality. Now that we discussed what MRKHS is, let's discuss uterus transplant. The first uterus transplant was done in Sweden, and now it is in trials here in the United States. According to Alexander Schiffer, health science journalist, in her article "1,000 Babies Born Without a Uterus, a New Procedure Gives Hope," Baylor's first test trial, 1 out of 4 women had a successful outcome, meaning that one woman with MRKHS was implanted with a uterus and gave birth to a child. According to Erin Biva, though, there are 3 surgical procedures these women must undergo. They must undergo a surgical procedure to get the uterus implanted. They must undergo a surgical procedure. Once they are pregnant, they must have a C-section. Regular birth is not an option. The third surgical procedure they must undergo is getting the uterus removed. This is because a lot of anti-rejection medication can cause health issues in the long run. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this uterus transplant? The benefits of having a uterus transplant: it gives the couple the ability to have a baby of their own. The disadvantages is the cost. Being such a new procedure and not being covered under insurance, the cost of it is $200,000. Now that we have discussed uterus transplant, let's discuss options of having a family. Another option women with MRKHS are presented with is surrogacy. Even though they cannot carry a child because they don't have a uterus, they still have ovaries. So undergoing IVF treatments and getting extracted, you'll have an extracted eggs, then they could go ahead and get a surrogate to get pregnant. The second option is adoption. Even though the baby is not 100% theirs, it could definitely be raised as their own. Today we have discussed about MRKHS. We have discussed what MRKHS is. We have discussed uterus transplant and the options of having a family. Remember, 1 in every 5,000 girls are born with MRKHS. This could be a future daughter of yours, your wife, or even your sister. Unfortunately for my friend, she was that 1 in 5,000. Now she battled her own demons, being depressed all the time. Now, having been married to the man of her dreams, she is looking into options of having a child of her own. She's leaning towards surrogacy just because the cost of it is more efficient than getting a uterus transplant. Thank you, you guys.